Hello, good day, good evening, whichever it is you. Sometimes, wow, instantly, there's two. Welcome. Sometimes you just have to try again, and all I had to do was reload, and the glitch fixed, and I might turn down that fan. It's usually quite stuffy up here, so I have, but even with my feet slightly covered, it's kind of that's really what's mostly chilly. Anywho, um, I should have copied the title. I know I just created it, and you both laughed. Like, who cares about the fan? No, I'm not a fan of fans, but maybe it wasn't. Again, it's always good to remember that it may not have been personal, it may not have been intentional, and we'll see. But now there's nobody here, although it is the start of thing. Okay. So, I guess I'll start with the obvious. It's interesting, kind of like a writing project that I felt I just had scenes and I haven't looked at it in a while. Maybe I do have a beginning and I just need a bit more in the middle. Or maybe I don't. Maybe I just need to publish it. $5 on Amazon's out here, even though I know she also spoke negatively of them. How can you speak negatively of something that lets you publish something for $5 or free? Like YouTube. It's a great thing, and basically, the power of positivity and sorry, let's see. Everything's here right now, so it's all good. Well, that's not what I meant to say. It's better when you're here, even if you're not all there. I was kidding. Anyway, but nobody's perfect, right? So, but a lot of people seem like they are. They seem like they have their life together. I'm just not sure if that'd be a distraction. I'm also not sure if I will have. There's also something else right up here. It's obvious. As I keep taking things off the shelf. Sorry for my slow start. I honestly do feel more organized and more gathered, kind of, sort of. But, part of the free spirit randomness of it too, right? So, yeah, I should have copied the title. I don't think I'll need a reminder. I've got my reminders here beside me of the things that I want to cover. And I know how I want to finish this. I know what I want to come before the end. And the beginning has been taking shape. And the viewer, but I really shouldn't mention it. But it is interesting. It is interesting to kind of keep track of. I mean, everybody is different. And again, like I say, it might not be because of anything about me or what I'm saying or doing. Yeah, it's still kind of interesting to keep track of it for some reason. So, and especially to notice when there's somebody there because it's motivating. It's motivating for the most part. And kind of focusing a little bit too. And I'm not going to be eating anything else on camera, just so you know. I just finished something off there. But let's get started with this. I know we're almost 5 minutes in, but you know what I mean. And I mean what I know. I'm going to have a bit more of this while it's hot, and actually it got quite hot. I could put more milk, let's get the oils too, but it goes on top of the phone. Do I feel a little bit cramped here in this locale? This new locale? That's something I wanted to mention is, and I really think like that, here's the thing, like I say, I got it by myself. because I am very motivated and curious and intrigued when it indicates a viewer at the top, and I'm curious, what they might say. And I'm pretty sure I did intentionally select live chat to display afterwards, but maybe I didn't. And if not, hopefully I put some comments. But again, just because something doesn't have comments doesn't mean that it's not enjoyed and that it wasn't a pleasure to make it. But, I think any YouTuber would be lying if they said they didn't want them. Comments, likes. Obviously you have to start with a view before you can go to the other ones, right? But it'd be an awkward moment to say it, so I'm just going to jump right into it. But I'll just say that there are the actions that I just mentioned, which are more in depth, more specific, more motivating, more better, for lack of grammar, perhaps. So I'm having a cup that says, first I do the coffee, then I do the things. But I'm eager and I can multitask, partly because of ADHD. So I'll have the coffee while I do the things, and enjoy it. And the viewer left. They're like, oh yeah, I'm going to go make coffee. Then I'll come back to this. And maybe they want to experience something like I experienced this last night, where somebody was trying to do a meditation. It was later in the evening, but as I told her, we kind of do eat later in the evening. It was perfect timing, except for the fact now that it's garden season, one of us tried to kind of get the multitasking happening, so it lands on me, and things come up, but we do our best. So I was meditating, trying to make some pasta for, apparently, as I learned, the Americans and occasionally other people. Which actually, I do think it sounds kind of cool. It's kind of like, a couple other words that I can't think of it. Well, more than a couple words, but a couple that I thought of recently. But pasta sounds good. What is that? Just things from minding our noodles or something like that. But for people that have watched this far in, because it's not super far in, I do want to say a bit of a disclaimer. In fact, I'm also going to put it in the edit, because I'm gonna tell you why, or I'm gonna put it in the description, because once I've said it, it's been said. I may repeat it, I may not. I didn't have a description yet, so just quickly here. Okay. But for those that really want, I don't have a target audience. I really don't feel I'm a diverse person. I have a diverse audience. I think my only criteria is not asking that much, and hopefully even the trolls can abide. But then it might be hard to tell the trolls. I don't know. That love, kindness, empathy. Basic human traits. Some of us maybe, for whatever reasons, life has shaped us to the point where we have to look a little deeper to find those, but it's worth looking. And some of us are just very natural with it. Keep it up, kind of thing. So I wrote a note earlier, and I feel like I want to say it, and I didn't know if it would be in this podcast or what. But knowing that sometimes I struggle to read my scribbles later, it's still fairly fresh. The viewer allowed to say, I don't care about your notes. I've got to go make notes of my own. again, I laugh it off. I don't like when it happens, but I laugh it off, and I think there's something powerful in that, you know. Um, so just like when you don't know what to do, nobody's here at the moment, so they'll be seeing this afterwards, hopefully. Let the universe tell you and unfold it. And then this is just about something that I am hopefully soon to experience, and it speaks to my struggles. It really does. I just might turn that slightly not facing me, as much as I want it to, and it was making funny noises on the highest setting. It's making my here. I thought I might I'll only be showing my top half as long as I don't get up. I honestly kind of thought just but it's kind of blowing on my legs and making me chilly, And actually, I'm going to take this just a moment here to sit on. Make sure that hasn't pulled out. Okay, good. I really think it was better when I brought it the other day, but okay. So, in kind of following with, so first of all, I've started to mention that I'm in a slightly different, I'm in the same home, I'm just in a slightly different background. I'm not sure if I feel like that fan is getting me quite like I want it to. So I might have to do that thing I said, but when I stand up, but hey, it's what actually you see. That's what matters. What you see, what you hear in life, what you do. Sorry. Hello is just lumpy. I guess even like that is a little bit better. Okay. So, and what you think. And I'm sorry to move again. I did have this pretty good, and actually, I also did do something else, but not surprised. I got to do it again. But we do have somebody here, so I want to leave you with a thought before I take a brief pause and possibly drop the guitar. I decided, okay, you left, so I can't remember if I moved that now. I really did intend for this to be very focused, short, but I got time. I got ADHD. Things, pop up sometime. I feel even distracted up here, and it's just a matter of getting things just right. And it's not that I don't like that in view, but I don't. I just think that it could be slightly distracting. It'll spark your curiosity. So, I'm going to finish with this thought and then we'll go on to the next thing. And this could be deep, but I think it's worth hearing, and you feel the feels and you take from it what makes sense for you to take from it. 2 to 1. But the rest of this note, which is actually also starting to smudge off because it's on a card that actually it's different on one, feels like it's different on one side than the other side as far as like it's kind of a shiny, sort of slippery texture. Feels like more in the small area, and then it sends through, and it's like, will it stand out? Well, I don't know. Does it highlight yellow for you? If it highlights yellow for you, then it might. Or is that just for me because I put it? Fan's making funny noises. Fuck! I think I squeezed it a little bit, that's all. Okay. Put this here. Almost tempted. Almost tempted. But I gotta do it the way I did the one about carrots. Because I'm still very much me. And there's no one else I'd rather be or could be. Same with you. We can be similar, so similar, but also so different from each other. Also, still unique to each other, is what I mean to say. I think sounds a bit better. Yeah, I still do anyway, we'll see. No one else I'd rather be. Ooh, ooh, ooh. No one else I'd rather be, but I have cold feet and that dark hair seems to be on my zipper. Anyway. So, I didn't actually fully cover this, but I got it behind the computer and I almost forgot. A certain someone I'm going to hopefully be connecting with before the end, or by the end of the week, or before the end of the week. Yeah. May decide wants to sightsee, whether it's been here or not, so may come earlier. May have to come earlier because of some sort of emergency with somebody that the person knows here. However, doesn't mean isn't going to also be here for the purposes wants to be here for. Now it's sunny again. But or may have had to alter because of some sort of reason connected to the actual transportation and travel. Cool things off, man. Come on. Gotta stay cool. But I'm cool either way. You. Okay. So, I wish I could see my description. Sorry, just chopstick. I wish I could see. I know, again, I just wrote it less than, after I'd already kind of started this video, so less than a few minutes ago. And there was a reason why I just mentioned that. Okay, so I'm just going to hop right into kind of the next parts of this. And the viewer's like, I don't know. Maybe for after the fact, that's maybe where, because I keep mentioning it, people like, I don't care. I don't want to keep hearing it. But I think it is interesting to kind of notice. And maybe it's something I'm doing since I'm kind of newer to this channel, newer kind of, well, I do and I don't feel like I am, but coming to this channel, and I'm curious where our viewers are from and if this is the first video that you've seen, or what other ones you have seen, and what are those things? But Some people will. So, anywho, let's focus. I've got time later today. I might do one or two more. Not sure if it'll be this song I wrote. For similar reasons, I kind of do want to read it out. I do kind of want to read it out because I'm going to tell you why. So I don't mean to sound a certain way. I just get goofy and silly. And like I say, I'm a very diverse person. And that is for many reasons. The life I've had, the experiences, the people I've been around, and it's the same for all of us. And also, some of it might be certain types of, mechanisms that I've learned or behaviors. Maybe because I don't want to be boring, but I'm also just very much me. And also, interestingly, very much, or possibly genetics that I may not even be fully aware of. So, just saying. I mean, because I know that some people may hear that, and I guess essentially I'm thinking they might say, why are you talking black? You're not black. I'm just being me. Maybe I do have that. And we all probably do in our roots. I think the most common ones are black culture, Asian culture, and indigenous. And in fact, you hear it quite often, interestingly, we are all treaty people. So we should all treat each other with respect. If we're given it, we should give it back, maybe even doubled sometimes, because maybe a person needs, as much as you can manage to give of such. And I was going to say, when I was talking about cultures and that's not what this is about, but it kind of came into it. What I might do is just read a couple little previews. Hopefully what I can read now, I'll be able to read later. And basically, but what I can't maybe from my written lyrics of a particular idea, almost could read sister out. I'm just quickly scrolling. That's actually from the other side of the page. It is a bit muggy up here. I wanted to do it because I did one last night in this location, and it was about this long, maybe a few minutes shorter. And I was mostly comfortable in it. And I'd have a lot to carry. Unfortunately, I'd have to do it in 2 trips. And if I was going to do that, I'd rather there be someone here watching. I didn't show before the end of the week. Someone here watching and engaging in the conversation who can write lovely comments while I'm doing that. And then I can come and be distracted by them and appreciative. You know what I mean? But for someone who just tunes in, I do understand. I do. If it look, I mean, I'm working on the editing. I'm finding the feature a little bit finicky, and I also think that YouTube was making some kind of format and layout, whatever you want to call it, changes. A couple of days ago, I feel like I was noticing that a little bit. So it's and I don't mind being free-spirited and organic, but I do understand that, someone just tunes in and something makes it not seem organized. Unfortunately, some people don't have a lot of patience. I get it. I have had to be quite patient in life to get opportunities, just with the things that life has brought me. I'm still not an expert at it. I still I still don't like the feelings that come with it sometimes. So I relate to you if you understand that. Um, you know, but sometimes they're necessary, and sometimes for a long time. And although I feel like this individual I might be meeting this week is doing fairly well for himself, um, he posted something in February, and I read a little snippet of it, a little blurb of it, which kind of was like it sounded like he things were going really slow for him for a while, and so he was able to make some connections. And I mean, in the digital age, which isn't new just because of the pandemic, but it's shaped and shifted and grown, and it would anyway, right? And it's kind of like, so I mean, it's always been there, and the potential has always been there. But I know I kind of said that twice, but at the same time, um, at the same time, oh, that's interesting. I don't know why that feels so interesting into my leg. You know, sometimes it's more there. That was funny when I said the other day, "Oh, is it the one with the hat?" I was like, I mean, and again, he didn't seem to have much about it. I was like, well, we do wear hats, and I was thinking kind of more of him. I was like, we do wear hats, and sometimes many hats. More ways than one, but I'm not sure. um, but I did want to state Did that not go through? Good thing I copied it. It's probably possibly fairly common for people that live stream to make little notes, and maybe that's why it's highlighted, and also to differentiate self from others. I don't know. Yeah, we're more like them. We are different, but at the same time, you know, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I could just kind of sit through the feelings that my system is telling me too warm, too cold, too warm, too cold. The pillow isn't right. Or I could go downstairs, but I know that I'm going to be down there for quite a while. I do have the desk I'm leaning on. Um, Although, okay. Um, and yeah, and it would be a lot to carry down. The coffee, the lotion, the guitar, laptop, the phone, possibly that book, the confetti. Yes, I said it. The water. I could do it in one trip. It'd be safer to do it in two, but that's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do it in two. Just kidding. As I wanted to move this mirror. I think it's distracting. Ooh, I shouldn't have done it that way, but it works. I do and don't think the importance of, what is said is sometimes more important than what is seen, and blind people will know that, you know, quite, quite candidly, or quite, and sometimes what is said is more important. Or sorry, did I say that right? Or people with hearing impairments, they got to go by what they hear. Because no, sorry, my mind's messing this up. But I think you know what I'm trying to say, and I'm trying to say it in kindness as well. um, Now I did say, if I really want to get specific, Watch, I'll be live when he's there. I said it to someone recently. I said it's a mix of having had a good sleep, having had a good night last night, and being excited about something. I mean, it's sunny here. It's kind of hazy, kind of cloudy. And there's a part of me that really wants to be kind of, but I don't need to still sleep. I slept I slept 7 or 8 hours. I am finding it muggy up here, though. I am. I can go downstairs and have the AC on. What I could do so that I'm still on camera while I'm doing it. Oh, that was the other reason. Change of scenery, you can do it within your own home. Unfortunately, if you have a small home, that is harder. If you struggle for whatever reason to grow it a lot. But if you live in an apartment, you could briefly go down to the lobby. And if you think, oh, well, it's often noisy there, often, but not always, perhaps, right? I think I used to do that a little bit. So usually it was when I was waiting for a ride or whatever. But I know in a small space, especially, you can go kind of stir crazy and restless. And if you don't have money and you don't have a purpose to go to things, it can make it harder, right? So, but I am. The fan is not doing it for me. So what I'm going to do is relocate, I think. But I'm going, and that was the other thing. I didn't want to move the laptop around too much because it really is the best thing to be able to podcast on. And it's old, but it does work quite well. And I don't want anything to happen to it in general. I mean, we use it for a lot of stuff, and and all that. So, I mean, sure, if somebody tunes in and I'm walking and moving, then maybe I won't bring the guitar down, and I can come back for those later, or I can get, what I could do is I could get some of the stuff. But yeah, I mean, but at the same time, I have to be where I'm comfortable. So I have to get that window open, and it's going to be warm. Not as warm as it's going to be later this week, but only because I want to put this in the fridge. I think I actually can do this. And if I'm watching this back with the other person in the home and they're like, oh, the chance you're taking with the laptop, moving around with it. No, I mean, I've got pretty much just the laptop and a bottle of water with the cap on it, of course. In this hand, you only carry a laptop with one hand. I've got the phone, the lotion, and the coffee in this. I am wearing the slippers, and I think I'm going to leave. I know, because I'm old. No, because I get cold feet. Honestly, when I bought them in a kind of a hasty shopping excursion, so to speak. And I thought they were shoes, and I was looking for some new shoes. Or like some sort of slip-on, and I guess essentially they are. But anyway, I can't hold this laptop for too much longer. My arm, my carpal tunnel, whatever, is telling me so. So, good. I didn't slide that. Too bad nobody's here. I'm doing this for you and for me. At the moment, anyway, rug rolling. Nobody's here to appreciate that. Oh, okay, if you would have heard and you kind of did hear something fall there, it's just the charger kind of dangling. Okay, we're getting there, folks. We're getting there. All of you that aren't here, just kidding. All who are we, come here, as deep cries of too deep. I was gonna do that song the other day. I forgot. I probably should use a bit more, but I'm not that hungry. Okay, so I'm gonna stop moving in a moment here. it lasted about 30 minutes up there, and that's probably going to be about half of this. Half of this is half. This is duration. I kind of do want to keep them up, although I don't want to go back up there and that door's open and it might distract me. The dog might get into things. There's nothing else. Well, maybe there is. I don't think there is, but there's nothing else hugely important that I had upstairs that I wanted to get. But maybe there is, like I say. So come with me and we'll see. Sorry. Maybe some people will hear that a certain way. No, like as far as like, I don't know. There's so many different ways you can take something. I'm thinking of the movie. I'm thinking how that scene is interesting, but maybe slightly strange. But a lot of us are, aren't we? Oh, I didn't even look to see if there was anything else they wanted. I might as well just get these other two things. Oh, the guitar? Yeah, but I told myself that I can do this on the piano too. It's good to have some variety in the location and the movement. To be honest, we were talking about movement with someone the other day. You know how some of us have kind of sedentary lives a lot of the time, and I thought I did, but whether it's briefly having to come upstairs for something, or whether it's fairly often sometimes through the day, or whether it's moments like these. Movement in moments. In mismatched socks. Okay, sometimes that's what's there. I really don't know where the other one went, but whew. Okay, we are landing in our usual ever so popular location. We're going to go with the middle one. That's the one. So I pretty much covered this. I'm just going to pop it over there for now. So I said make that 30 mark. I'm 8 minutes past that. I could also take out the ones that aren't accurate. Have I covered it? I think I did, though, honestly, to the best of my ability and knowledge at the moment. So this was going to be, and I'm getting even though with some distractions, I'm getting a lot in even this amount of time. This was going to be like a 15, 25 minute one, but I don't have a lot of other things to worry about today, and kind of got to go with the flow of it, right? Sometimes. So I am, I guess, going to obviously read a little something. There's the phone I was looking for. Just going to put it on mute so it doesn't distract us. I'm not waiting for any particularly important call. Yeah, I'm going to put it on the table, and if I notice it, then maybe I'll react to it. But, and the ungrateful viewer left. Was here for a moment or two, and then was like, I like it when you, no, I was kidding. Well, if I can't call you, no, but anyway, and but is either back or somebody else here? Okay, I realize how that's okay. So, want to make sure I remember to do something with, I know, these. So, hopefully you can hear me okay over the AC. I'll just sit like this. Part of me does want to kind of sit, against the back of the couch instead of the side, but okay, it did reload, which it didn't the first few times earlier this morning. Okay, I'm just going to open up any post and put this in the comment area so I can follow it, because I don't know where else to put it. It's on a different device, and I want to follow it. I would say emails, but I have something else open there on the device that this is on. Doubly good. Oh, we got a like. Who do we got watching? Where are you watching from? Happy to have you here. So I was going to share something. There was a post I saw in a group. It was by an anonymous poster on a social media, and that isn't necessarily, because I get it somewhat. That wasn't necessarily why I mean, I was just waking up essentially, and I don't even remember. Other than that, the person felt really lonely. Just wanted to come in and say hi. I'm pretty busy right now. Can't stay long. How are you doing? And I do remember you. The other picture looks like Robin, but I do remember you. Glad to hear from you. Thanks for the like. I'm glad that we are still good with each other, as we should be. That we got past that misunderstanding before. And yeah, I hope that you have a lovely, busy, productive day. But I hope you stay as long as you can. And if you're able to multitask during some of your busy, I mean, whether you're watching this live or afterwards, that's cool. I feel like we're at the 42 mark, and this is where I'm really kind of getting to what the main idea was. I know it took me a while, but you know, other good things kind of came up too, and I hope that, you know, if you're unsure about something, just ask for clarification, because we all have misunderstandings. You know, some people can say, oh, well, I don't understand it. Well, yeah, that's going to happen sometimes, with any communication, as we have the second person there. But anywho, not to go on about that. So I realized that particular person was not perhaps someone, and maybe they are. Maybe it was even you. Like I said, I don't remember a lot of the details. Other than that, they said that they were lonely and not feeling a lot of hope in their life, essentially. And I have mixed feelings, perhaps, about on that site mentioning this channel. And there's also people on YouTube. There's quite a few people that and if you're like, why wouldn't you mention your channel? That say, oh, maybe you shouldn't. But and there may be some good points in that, and I've maybe semi-processed them about or someone said. But the thing of the matter is that I like to kind of keep the world separate. You know, YouTube is a big platform, but there's lots on it, and I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if it just so happens that certain connections from there, whether I know it or not, are also here, but otherwise, yeah. So basically, now I did promise that this really got going at the 42-minute mark, especially, and you did leave, but you said you're pretty busy, so, and you let me know that, it wasn't like abrupt or anything, but but so I appreciate that. Did I say that? Did I say my appreciation? It's good. It's good for people to know that what they say and do is appreciated. Even some things that maybe kind of seem like small things. And that particular person, yeah, I remembered from a past video, and yeah, they didn't stay, but they did say they're pretty busy. Maybe that was the case before. But really nice comment. Just wanted to come in, say hi. I'm pretty busy. Can't stay long. How are you doing? Anywho, so for the reasons mentioned, and who knows if there was others, I didn't comment the post, okay? But So let's just get that straight. But there was one that there was a comment that I noticed, and for some reason, and yeah, just because I know it can happen sometimes, and I was liking what there was here, I kind of copied the text as I was writing it so that I would make sure to still have it. For you all, I feel like even though I've maybe made some good points in this video, I haven't gotten to the nitty gritty, so to speak, yet. And but I'm getting there. This is getting a little bit long. It's still under an hour, and if it's a little over an hour, some videos are. Quite a few videos actually. And it's got 1 like, so let's see what we can add to that. I mean, it isn't about the numbers. It's also about the impact, the connection, right? Anyway, so it was a page that I don't know much about the page other than what it went by, really. That went by, and I wasn't going to say it actually, but I don't know, why not? I don't want to get too into this topic in any of my videos as much as I do. I guess just to make the point again, you know what? Let me do what I can do and don't try to force anything connected to that. I think is the we can understand the desire and the want, even coming from a good place, but that's not the way to go about it, I feel. For me, anyway, and those that I connect with in that area. And if you remember that, and if you remember kindness, and if you remember that we're all good people deep down, and that'll hopefully speak to the people that may be tempted to be certain ways, which, I mean, I haven't, and in fact, yeah, I mean, that was great that I don't want to assume gender, but that individual popped in, liked, commented, subscribed if they haven't already, and please don't get all worked up about the part. I mean, I don't know. With a name like Nehemia, it has to be good, but I don't know. And that could be accurate, and that's fine. Anywho, so I'm just trying to cover all the possibilities, but one thing that I did learn, or that I did remember from that comment, I mean, it wasn't super long, and I had it scrolled to a certain spot, but it's true. I may have found myself reading out some of it and not remembering the very slight alterations that I wanted to make with it. Just a moment. For instance, I was saying to someone recently, interesting, kind of coincidental, what I'd more say is they didn't look that friendly, but they came across as if they were. Same with that other person in that group, in a different group. Anywho, when she was kind of God-based, and I can't remember the exact particulars. At first, she was focusing very much on the original post and not so much the thread, and also that her perspective, also, where what worked for her. But I was trying to get her to understand that faith talk, you can still essentially say the thing you want to say without putting religion in it. And she said that they said that's a biblical name, actually. It's not that doing so is necessarily bad, and we don't have to get deep into that. But, respectful disagreements That's the kind of thing, maybe because I'm not strongly pulled one way or another with it. Whether that means I'd say I'm neutral with it, I don't know. But that's the kind of thing where I feel like I could find an opportunity to just possibly agree to disagree. It's better when you can just agree, but you can't have that all the time. Um, but you'll reach and speak to more people, and it feels very natural to me. Like I don't even have to try. And the person was there, like I don't agree with agreeing, blah 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 blah. Anyway, if you take faith out of it, because it's not going to work for some people. Your voice is important. What you have to say is likely important. Um, we can have so much coming at us. I know that's the thing, but it's only 9:23. Wow, but and different things can do this, I suppose. Different habits or whatever, and we do our best. And sometimes we are operating out of habits, but different. And this is me being neurotypical, divergent, and not sticking to the plan. But I'm not going to be hard on myself, um, and hopefully you won't be hard on me. That's right. Anywho, but you can essentially say the same thing without putting religion in it, and the power within that. However, I saw it, and it wasn't overly preachy. I was able to look past it. And one of the things that the person said, again, don't know the gender preference with that person either. But one of the things that they said was, life gives you life gives you your situations for a reason. And I'm not going to get this quote right, but I've heard it before. Something about powering through the pain and letting your struggles speak importance, and use that word again because I'm not quoting this right, but maybe you know the quote I'm trying to say, powerfully for someone else. Letting your, and I can't remember if I read that before I started to feel a bunch of other things or if it was just after. I think it was after. Like I maybe noticed elements of that comment, but I do think it was after. It doesn't hugely matter, or does it? That's the thing. But one thing that I try to do on this channel, and that I will continue to do as long as I shall live, which reminds me, I'll be writing a song about legacy, or a poem, or both, or just simply talking about it. All the above. In the near future. But, and also past time. But, I am and am not unique, but I am learning that there is power in my story. Just as there is yours. And the fact that I found that, is that saying something? Is it saying that I can't drive, I can't do noisy environments easily? I feel mixed about that place. But should I still find involvement? Is it saying, I already kind of covered this one thing up, and I saw a picture when I came downstairs a little bit too. Is it saying I am meant to work in that particular industry? I'm going to be soon getting an opportunity, making the connection to that loved one that passed away, that I found out passed away, not that weekend, which is why something else transpired the night I found out. But send you a flower. Profit. It's not about the money, but it is about the money in some ways. And especially when you're not making much of it. But we understand. here's the thing. As I said in one of the videos recently, if you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. But we all have bills. We all have food to pay. And it's hard to make it in this world. Partly because of a certain ginger. Nothing against gingers except for kind of that certain ginger. And I know that phrase, but I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm actually, believe it or not, part Scottish. My grandparents are Scottish. And that. Oh, dearie me, dear. Just a moment here. This thing is needing to be fluffed. Sorry. Moving right along. Hi, Roger. How you doing? Doesn't always have to be obvious either. You support what I'm doing. Oh, thank you. I'm very loved. Oh, thank you. Sometimes I don't. So I am going to read a little bit, or read a poem. I should be doing this at the piano though, because I did put a bit of chords to it. You know, my eagerness and such is not fully chorded. Doesn't have to be. Although I believe that, welcome. I believe, yeah. The only thing about that is that near the end it says a part that I wrote spoken. Did I mention that comment that I was talking about before ironically was called Heaven Speaks on that post? Well, it was. Anywho, there was somebody there for like 2 minutes. But anywho. Oh, I could just sing a song. I could just sing a cappella something. Since that came to mind, I think that's what I will do. For now. I will admit it did sound pretty cool on the chords that I put that I did put in it so far did sound pretty cool on the guitar. And if you're curious to hear what the same, I mean, often when we hear multiple instruments, and I don't know, I listen to music. I guess sometimes it's all mixed so well that you almost can't hear the individual instruments. It just sounds complete. As I am working to complete this podcast, feel more complete in my life, and hoping that you will do the same. Welcome. So, yeah, I'm gonna. And they left, and they're like, "Oh, I have something I got to complete first, and then I'll come back." So, but to speak with intention, to speak with more clarity, to speak with creativity and sincerity are important. So are you. I'm not trying all that hard to be liked. I'm just me. And at the same time, I kind of feel, not to toot my own bugle too much, but I kind of feel like, well, don't kind of feel like it. I am pretty darn likable. And I feel like maybe I'm seemingly taking a moment to remember that. And remember those that don't are missing something. And it could be a pretty big something. They're not seeing or processing something yet, at least. And so maybe their being is not growing, is uptight for whatever reason, and not, able to enjoy it. But I hope that changes, and you will be. This or the other videos. Kind of interesting how that came up. But there are so many ways which we can bring positivity and motivation and goodness to the world, and it needs it, and it needs it, and I hadn't forgotten that. But sometimes you get, and there was somebody that was like, the back, whatever. Sometimes you get reminders, and as a content creator, it's not just about me. It's about putting that back out there, and maybe it'll come back to me as well. So just kind of in the viewer left. But again, things come up in one's life. Devices do funny things sometimes. Well, sometimes they don't seem that funny. It's fine. There is a watch later option. Maybe this is being saved in your watch later. I thank you. I hope you'll get to it. Because my goodness, one thing I did tell myself today, first time in all my years coming to YouTube, I've probably been back in the podcasting world here for 2 or 3 months, I would say. But and so when you come to set up a video, and I don't really think it would matter whether it was the phone, the computer shows you more. And so it works more with my OCD, for better or for worse. I mean, not my OCD, my ADHD. Maybe both. When I came to start this video today, YouTube showed me a couple things on the feed first. And you ask yourself the question, is this something that might interest me, that might intrigue me? And one of the people out of, I think, the 4 that it showed me, I had seen on here before. He has some videos where he's filming in an alley. But I mean, if you're used to walking to get home or whatever, for whatever reason, through it, and it's not, terrible, then you'll keep doing it, So I mean, or I don't know. I just thought it was a weird location. Maybe it was just, like I say, just passing through, like we all are through life. But one thing that his title of that particular video did mention Christ. And I remember one of his other videos that I saw, and it may have been short, and I'm just as guilty of it sometimes. I don't think I watched the full thing. Or maybe I did, I can't remember. And it was about loving for no reason. I like that concept. I support it. I think there's always reasons, whether we want to admit it or not. There's always reasons why we might feel some type of love for somebody, and it's better than a hate, I don't have time for haters. I'm not going to pay attention to them, and thankfully I don't notice them very often. So, and I know that they can grow as people too, and do better. But what was interesting is finding out that he was religious, because certainly not all religious people are hateful, and I don't want to get deep into this topic, but a lot of people, a lot of them come across that way when they connect it to religion. But also, and somebody left, and I didn't mean to insult, but also there's also the whole point of, I feel like, and it's not a terrible thing, I mean, that is not actually acceptance. But when some people say, or I love as God would, or Jesus would love you, pretty much, I don't hear it super often, I suppose. I don't also hear the opposite, thankfully, either. But when I do hear it, I feel like, especially in my 30s, I mean, I don't feel like I heard that phrase as a kid very much. I don't even really feel like I heard it in my 20s very much, oddly. And maybe not even that much in my 30s, which I'm in now. But when I have heard it, I have heard, oh, this is more comfortable. But you know what? Both are good. I have heard, while you're loving because of religion, but and I can also, you know, edit, which then shows copy of, and then takes away part of the title, and then sometimes bounces to the back every backspace you do. But I can also maybe either redo this with just the song, or and duplicate that part of it. But when they say that, though, I hear, okay, you're loving because somebody else, because your belief system has told you to, and that's not terrible. Like I say, I just hope that your heart tells you to as well. Your own heart, your own mind tells you that love is the answer. And, also, I suppose some people, they hear love and they instantly go to romantic, and you don't, some people are more free in that way, but, you might not want to feel romantic love for somebody. There are different types, there are, as we get both of you in, just in time for the poem, which the title is within the title of this. And like I say, as neurodivergent as I am, got slightly diverted, but now I'm back on track. And all two of you, both of you, all two of you, again, you know, and I do think it's worth mentioning. It's good to remind myself, so that I don't take it personal. I mean, you know, I guess openly admitting that is something I maybe struggle with a little bit. Um, not not really from being a content creator on YouTube or whatever, and really that's the main one, for sure. It's given me a sense of purpose. I I've always had important things to say and sing, so I'm getting those out there now, and and I love watching YouTube videos, and I love making them. So I wrote a little poem this morning when I woke up, poem/song, and the viewer left. And they're like, "Oh yeah, I had another video I wanted to." Oh, is he back? Anyway, but it is, it's also good for us all to remember, whether we're content creators or not. As viewers of this video and in general, it's not always personal when somebody, I do it. I do it too, and unfortunately, I don't usually feel bad. But if I was to stop and think about it and think, how does that come across, whether the video is live or not, I probably would. It's never of bad intentions. So, after I read this poem, this will be at the top. I guess I can kind of delete each line as I go, because I don't know. I do still have. Then again, sometimes it is something that they heard. Like, people have, sensitive topic areas. I think it's good to sometimes, for lack of a different word, challenge those, whether it's a trigger or whatever. I think it's good to I'm not saying easy, and I'm not saying I'm perfect with it, but I do. But like when somebody briefly left and I mentioned religion, maybe they think, "Oh, that's one of those topics." My mama was telling me politics and religion. How can you not vent? I mean, some people are for it, and we don't have to argue about that. But whether you're in the States or not, my view, my view is, how can you not vent about the state of I mean, even if you're not hugely political, as I'm not, which is another reason why we don't have to get too deep on this. But how can you not vent about it, or talk about it? And if done respectfully, religion is a fine topic. There's so many different aspects of it, and so many different similarities. You know, why is there so many religions? Like in India, they have gods, right? Why is there so many religions? For people to philosophize together, not prophetize necessarily, but for people to relate. And because there's meant to be, whether we want to say a creator made it so, or what have you, there's meant to be. And again, if things are approached respectfully, I kind of think very, very few topics should be not should be off limits. Um, but this wasn't a video about getting into politics or religion, so long videos. Some people are very bored or are having a slow day or get really into it or do a little at a time. That's not why I'm thinking of restarting this one. But I sort of am thinking of doing so. And YouTube's pretty good about, you can start one and then start another one almost immediately after. There's a little bit of setup, but and I'm trying to decide if I want to do that because I know I did say earlier that I have actually quite a bit of energy, and then this will take something over me, whether it takes something forward or not. I close both doors upstairs. I don't know about the washer though. But it would give me a bit more opportunity without having things rolling to take a small break and a breather, then kind of focus on the being a bit more short and concise because like I say, when I think about people's viewing habits, which interesting to even think that they have them, but they do, some people may say, if I can't watch the whole thing, then it's just not worth it. Some of us will say, well, maybe there's something worthwhile hearing and I'll watch what I can. But some people will say, if I can't watch the full thing, then I ain't gonna. And I'm not necessarily saying I don't understand. But I am saying that I need to kind of get up and walk around a little bit. And I think I do want to kind of be a bit more concise with the next idea. Let's gather the confetti here. And I can just pause and be, yeah, I think I will. I think I will. And the nice thing is that even if you subscribe, it should go to your notifications. If it doesn't, if you just happen to come to the channel or YouTube shows it to you, it will say whether I'm live or not. And I get excited, especially when it's not like, news or sports coverage or, like it's like just your average YouTuber who might be willing to engage with you and who is just putting, hopefully goodness out there. But I'm going to wrap this up and I'll be right back. I'm itching to share. I'm itching to do my poem/song. I still don't know if I want to. I'm not the best at chording things, and I wouldn't want it to be the same chords all the way. But I do like that idea, and actually I was reminded. I'm remembering now. I was reminded of 2 or 3 ways actually. The other day, of the person who kind of taught me the method and the technique and the power, whatever you want to call it, of doing music with spoken elements. Seem to feel like Bob Dylan did it a lot too, or am I wrong? Or thinking of the wrong person? Anywho, spoken elements, and I could just do those few chords in between all the spoken, but I don't know. Somebody just tuned in. I'm going to be doing part 2 soon, but if you would like to suggest, and we'll see how it sounds, if you would like to suggest, and you left, so I guess not. But I was really hoping so, because like I say, G, D, E, and C are kind of my go-tos. I have been changing it up a little bit. I have, and there was a certain reason why I picked the chords I picked that I have there so far. What I could just do, and because it was kind of written poetically, there is a bit of a rhythm to it or whatever. What I could just do is just every now and then do those chords, and every now and then speak it. But if you would like to suggest, and this is how chords work in music, for the most part, in the basic sense, if you would like to suggest 3 letters between A and G to inspire the next, and you're like, no, those are my least favorite letters, so sayonara. Although I'm just noticing something that's kind of interesting. Okay, abbreviations for the channel name. GAC. I'll be back. But then it's the decision, do I do it on guitar or piano? Or both? And I did see somebody do that recently, and they were smooth with it, and I'm still, I guess you could say, working on being smooth with it. But, maybe they did it because they figured out they could, and they couldn't decide. So, I think I know the chords that I'm going to use. I know the instruments I'm going to use, and you'll see what I'm going to do with it in the next video. Somebody, I don't know if it's the same person or not that it indicates at the top. It doesn't say who. But somebody came in for a few seconds and then left for a few seconds. It came for a few seconds and left for a few seconds. I didn't put a timestamp there, though. But maybe the 27 mark had something important. So, okay. Alababak. And I'm not meaning to imitate anybody. I'm just being my silly self.